Peace and blessings. Hetapu, Alafia, Assalamu alaikum. Welcome to the Djeliba channel of the African Ancestral Manuscript. This book came out in 2016 and it talks about our ancestral heritage. I am the Djeliba, and the Djeliba appears when the kings and the queens forget who they were and they're going down the wrong road. The Djeliba appears to tell them who they are so they can live up to their highest destiny. Today we're going to talk about Paul Robeson, who was a Thespian. And that might be a complicated word, Thespian, but that just means somebody who does multiple things very well, just like a polymath. Paul Robeson was a great man, and in the honor of Paul Robeson, we're going to talk. We are broadcasting live from Freetown, Sierra Leone, the Mountain of the Lions, inside of Mauritania. Mountain of the Lions is a place where the great African black loyalists, as well as the Maroons, the Black Poor, as well as the recaptive, came and created Freetown, the town which freed them up and enabled them to be free, and was the foundation of Sierra Leone that we have today. So give thanks to all our ancestors who created Freetown, and we are here broadcasting on the Djeliba channel. So let's see who Paul Robeson was. Paul Robeson was born in Princeton, New Jersey on April 9th, 1898. He was born from a former enslaved African named Reverend William Robeson. His mother was a teacher and died not too long thereafter when he was 5 years old. 3 years later, the Robeson family moved to Westville, New Jersey, and in 1910, Robeson's father became a pastor at St. Thomas AME Zion Church. Remember, we have a Zion Church in Freetown as well. And Robeson finally moved to Somerville, New Jersey. Paul Robeson attended Somerville High School. There, Robeson excelled in sports, drama, singing, academics, and debating. He graduated from the Somerville High School in 1915. That's just at the outbreak of World War I, or World War I was just about to end. Robeson was awarded a 4-year academic scholarship to Rutgers University in 1915, the third black student in the history of that institution. So he's only the third black student. Despite the openly racist, violent opposition he faced, Robeson became a 12-letter athlete, excelling in basketball, baseball, football, and track. So he was good at all these different sports. He was truly a phenomenon. He was named to the All-American football team on 2 occasions. In addition to his athletic talents, Robeson was named a Phi Beta Kappa scholar and belonged to the Cap and Skull Honor Society and graduated valedictorian of his class in 1919. So he was quite an accomplished person. He went on to study law in Columbia, New York, and received his degree in 1923. There he met and married Eslanda Cardoso Good, his wife, who was the first black woman to head a pathology laboratory. So greatness was running throughout his family. Even his wife was a great woman, and she's also in the African Ancestral Manuscript. Robeson worked as a law clerk in New York, but once again faced discrimination and soon left the practice because of a white secretary refused the dictation from him. Can you imagine? A subservient secretary doesn't want to even write down what you're saying because he's racist. Really, it's a mental health issue, racism. We need to look at it in the face. At this point of his life, Paul returned to his childhood love of drama and singing. He starred in Eugene O'Neill's All of God's Children Got Wings in 1924, creating the starring role. While the racial subject matter of the play spurred controversy and protest, he went on to star in another play by O'Neill, Emperor Jones. Perhaps he is widely recognized from the musical Showboat, where he changed the lines of his song, "That old man river, he just keeps rolling, he just keeps rolling along." His 11 films included Body and Soul, Jericho, and Proud Valley. His concert career reads like a world traveler's passport. New York, Vienna, Prague, Budapest, Germany, Paris, Holland, London, Moscow, and Nairobi. His travels taught him that racism was not as prevalent in Europe as back home. In the United States, he couldn't enter theaters through the front door or sing without intimidation and protest. But in London, he was welcomed with open arms and standing ovations. Robeson believed in the universality of music, and that by performing Negro spirituals and other cultural folk songs, he would promote intercultural understanding. As a result, he became a citizen of the world. singing for peace and equality in 25 different languages. Can you imagine the amount of skills you need to have to sing in 25 languages? Some people can't even sing in one language. During the 40s, Robeson continued to have success on stage, in film, and concert halls, but it remained face-to-face with prejudice and racism. After finding the Soviet Union to be a tolerant and friendly nation, he began to protest the growing Cold War hostilities between the United States and the USSR. He began to question why African Americans should support a government that did not treat them as equals. At a time when dissent was hardly tolerated, Robeson was looked upon as an enemy by the government. In 1947, he was named by the House Committee on Un-American Activities, and the State Department denied him a passport until 1958. Events such as these, along with a negative public response, led to the demise of his public career. Paul Robeson, the great and accomplished Thespian, multi-purpose Thespian, transitioned to the ancestral realm on January 23, 1976 in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, after living in seclusion for 10 years. Robeson's legacy has been an inspiration to millions around the world. His courageous stance against oppression and inequality in part led to the civil rights movement of the 60s. Through his stage and film performances, he opened doors to the interracial performances. With his travels across America and abroad, he opened the world's eyes to oppression. Robeson stood tall and proud against powerful governmental and societal forces. He remains in our memory a successful scholar, athlete, performer, and activist. Okay, that's Paul Robeson. Just to remind everybody out there listening to the Djeliba channel that you shouldn't be limited. Remember, this guy was scholar, athlete, performer, and activist, and he experienced success in each one of these domains. So we are multi-purpose geniuses. We have multiple skills, and we need to excel and show the world our beautiful divine skills from Creator and creators. We are once again tuning in live from the Djeliba African Ancestral Manuscript channel, live from Freetown, Sierra Leone, the mountain of lions with the power of the roar of the wild lions of the mountains. We'd like to say peace and blessings to everybody tuning in to Djeliba channel. On aimerait dire paix. On remercie tout le monde qui est venu nous écouter aujourd'hui. Like we say, kusha kabo to all you know we can listen to the Djeliba channel today. I would say you get plenty way in don't land, and not to come on things that we kusabi, but we ancestor them. So peace and blessings. I like to say Odabo. I like to say Hetapu. I like to say Keru Nefer. Tune in for the next adventure and the next story. Till then, Ashe, Ashe, Ashe.